So the purpose of this video is to show you how to use an online calculator um, and not have to do this formula when you calculate binomial probabilities. I mean, it's not that bad a formula. I mean, it behooves you if you handle some math, go check out how to use this. So Dr. Stevens shows us, and that whole factorial notation idea is pretty cool the way it cancels out and cleans up. But you don't have to do this. I don't want you to have to do this. The downfall about this formula too is this is only when you find you one value, like for this on page 74, as you can see, question number one, Dr. Stevens walks us through this, but this formula only works when you need exactly some set of numbers, equals. If you need to do a range of them, like this one down here, well, I mean, I'll do these for you with the calculator too. See how that one, you'd have to do, let's see, 6 more correct. And what do we got? We got 15 questions. So you'd have to do the probability, you know, that formula for 15. So what do we do? So n's 15. So you'd have to do 15 factorial over, let's see, is it greater than 6 or include 6? So it includes 6 or more. Okay, so you'd have to plug that in. You'd have to do it for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, I mean, you could do it through 0 through 5 and subtract that from 1 and add those up and then subtract that from 1. But you see, it's starting to get to be a little bit much. So let me show you this calculator, and there's others. I used to use this other one, Stat, but not Stat Crunch. It's called I don't know. I don't remember what it was called. It works slick. It's lately it's not been consistent with its working sometimes, especially with Chromebooks. My Oxford kids have been having trouble, and they found this gigacalc calculator. And now, how the heck do I find to show you that? Let's see. I've got it open here. It'll look like this. Here, let me find it. I don't know which identity I have myself in as for it. Oh, here it is. So this is the new version of that calculator, and it works pretty well. That actually does a little bit more than the other one, so I'm more than welcome to use this. So, but how can I find this? How can you find this? If you go to here, I think I've got them in here as a student. If you go to modules and you come down to course resources, see that online statistical tools. Now, these are the ones I pointed you. These first 3 are the ones I pointed you towards in the first couple of weeks of school of the semester. A normal CDF will be using next week in chapter 6. Right now, we're going to look at these 2 binomial calculators. One that's cool. We're not going to use it much. It does a lot. It doesn't do everything. But one thing it does do is, let's see, what's this first question? Let's do something to graph. What's the probability? I've got 15 questions. Each question is 5 options. So that means the probability of success is 1/5 or 0.2, right? And then they want to know what's the probability of getting exactly 2 correct. Well, what the heck does this look like? Well, if we go to that calculator, that graph calculator, okay, now you're gonna have to, I wish you could, where is it, Dan? Here it is. I'm using Firefox today. So what all you do is this calculator, you're going to type in, well, actually, I was going to show what it looks like. Let's show you what it looks like. So I got 15 questions. The probability of getting one right just by blind guessing is 0.2. And we want to know exactly 2. Okay, and so that's that answer. See, it does it for us, 0.023. So that's the probability if there's 15 questions of getting exactly 2 right, if 0.2 is the probability of guessing, okay? So you see, this is a right skew distribution. This is kind of a discrete probability distribution because it can only take on so many values, but it is quantitative, or we're converting them to quantitative, certainly. And the more on that later. So it's a right skewed. So we'd expect to see it. And so if we need to do, so that is the answer for this one. See how it agrees with what the textbook said. Now, if they wanted to do 6 or more, what does it look like on this calculator? So I'm going to change it. Everything's the same, right? Sample sizes are this 15 questions, probability still 0.2, but we want to know 6 or more. So this calculator will do this for you. You're just going to do the draw. See, this is showing just 6. That's exactly 6. We want 6 or more. So you see, it's not going to be a whole lot more than that, because after about 8, you can't even see the bars. So those probabilities are essentially 0. But let's see. So you see that drop down. I can go greater than or equal to chosen X value. And see how it's shading those all pink? So that would be inclusive of 6. What if for like number 4, do you see how it says less than 4? So we're just going to type in 4. Let's see what happens here. And I'm going to change this to just less than. I think it does just less. No, see, this calculator just does greater than or equal to. But we want less than 4. Now you see what that's doing. That's calculating for the probability of getting exactly 4, exactly 3, exactly 2, exactly 1, exactly 0, right? So, but this question is not asking us to include 4. So a couple ways to do it. You could take that 0.188 away from that. You could also change it just not to include 4, make it be 3. And that's actually the right answer for that. Okay, so there are ways around it, and this calculator is kind of cool because you get a visual. That other calculator I was at is actually a little more powerful though, a little more probability, a little more choices in it. So there's 0.2, and then we get 15, and then we've got 6. No, we got let's do 2. So that's the first one. Calculate and see what it happens for us. Is it gives us, well, let's see, it's still thinking. I'm on my home. I'm at home, so my internet running Zoom and trying to do something on the web. There it is. It went. So you see what this calculator does for us. This gives us exactly 2. So that's what it gives us, more decimal places. So if you're doing some MyOpen math, sometimes they want more than 3 decimal places. So this would be a good one to use. But see what else it gives us? So this is the choice. That's exactly 2. And that's the answer, right, for this one. If suppose they wanted less than or equal to 2, right? So it'd be at most 2. That would be the answer. If they want to know greater than 2, that would be that. If they wanted to know less than 2, so we're not including 2, it's that. So basically what this number is, right, is this one minus this one. But why do that if we got it all right here? And this is 2 or more. So that's a lot of choices. You just got to know which one you're using. If this were a quiz question, I would want you to grab the picture of this and highlight the one you're choosing. You just can't give me the screenshot. I got to know what you're looking at. Okay. So highlight it. Yeah, so that's how these two calculators work. I mean, especially with like number 4, where they're asking less than. Let's change this to 4 and then calculate it. Hopefully it loads faster than the last. It did. So you see, it gives us everything, and we just got to decide which one do we want. Well, we want this one, not the inclusive of 4. And that doesn't include. So in that bar graph, it wouldn't, or that histogram, it would. This one would have the 4 red. On this one, it would have 0, 1, 2, 3 red. Okay, but of course you can't do that with that other calculator. Okay, so that's what it works. You don't have to do the formula. You don't have to use the tables. If it works for you, do it. I encourage you to use a calculator though, right? I'm going to ask enough hard questions of you that let's not get the number crunching in the way. I'm going to ask you, some questions about things being unlikely and and that kind of thing. And here's where doctors say, sometime here at this page, remember how in chapter 2 we talked about if we're less than 2 standard deviations or more than 2 standard deviations, it's an outlier. Well, 5% is associated with that 2 standard deviations. So now that we're into probability, if you have a 5% chance, less than a 5% chance of happening, we're going to say that's probably not likely if the mean is true or if that center is true. Okay. And while we're at it, go look at this calculator. See what this calculator gives us? This one gives us, you don't even have to put anything in here, into this one. Just let it calculate it, and it'll show the whole distribution. But see how it gives us the mean of the distribution and the standard deviation of the distribution? Those aren't hard to find, and you'll see it with Dr. Steve and stuff. So I won't tell you how to do it here. But yeah, so that's how these calculators work. I encourage you to use them. And remember, you can get those. I guess I don't have that open here. Oh, you can get these online statistical tools. the histogram one and the histogram one and the probability calculator. Let me make sure I change this to I changed it to gigacalc. Okay, good. Long enough video. Let me know what you need.